What happens to the narcissist? After separation, when you separate from a narcissist, they will feel shocked and rejected by the idea of the separation, and they might never fully accept it. Narcissists believe that they are the best and superior, and they cannot fathom anyone abandoning them. Upon your separation, they will perceive it as a loss and position themselves as the victim. The narcissist will seek ways to regain your presence and might resort to manipulation and psychological pressure to convince you to return. However, if you don't go back to them, they will experience anger and a desire for revenge, and they might attempt to take revenge in any way possible. Narcissists view separation as an affront to their self-esteem and struggle to cope with the notion. When faced with separation, a narcissist may experience confusion and disorientation. They might search for ways to fill the void you left, such as pursuing other relationships. They may also reflect on their mistakes and attempt to alter their behavior to avoid future separations. Upon the separation from a narcissist, they may react with anger and shock. This anger might be unjustified and cloud their perception of their actions. Narcissists firmly believe that they are the best and are not easily disposed of. In their view, your departure might be seen as a direct attack, causing them harm and shock. The narcissist will strategize ways to regain control over you, possibly using manipulation and psychological tactics to persuade you to return. However, if you continue to stay away, their anger and desire for revenge might intensify, and they may resort to various means to achieve it. The narcissist interprets separation as a personal insult and may struggle to tolerate the idea. In the wake of separation, a narcissist might feel disoriented and perplexed. They could seek ways to compensate for their perceived loss, such as looking for someone else to fill the void you left. Additionally, they might reflect on their past mistakes and try to change their behavior to avoid future separations. When you decide to distance yourself from a narcissist, you must be confident in your decision, particularly if it's a definitive step rather than a temporary separation. Narcissists employ manipulation and psychological pressure to coerce you into returning, and they might repeatedly try to regain your attention. However, this doesn't mean you should go back to them every time. Narcissists believe they are the best and cannot be abandoned. Consequently, they may interact with you in a manner that makes you feel like returning is the sole solution for happiness and security. Nonetheless, when you realize they are harmful and deceptive, you must stand firm in your decision and understand that distancing yourself is the better solution. After comprehending the destructive and harmful nature of living with a narcissist, it's crucial to prioritize your well-being and work on improving your life without their presence. If you've decided to permanently distance yourself, you should take steps to shield yourself from any contact with them and prevent them from reaching you through any means. Once you're certain of your decision and take the necessary steps, you can free yourself from the narcissist's psychological control and live a happy and stable life away from them. When the victim decides to distance themselves from the narcissist and cut off all communication channels, the narcissist may feel shocked and disoriented initially. However, they might start contemplating the reasons for their separation and may blame the victim, claiming that the victim wasn't aware of their actions and that the victim couldn't have walked away as they were completely under their control. Over time, the narcissist might begin to anticipate the victim's return and convince themselves that the victim will come back soon. They might not be able to maintain this state for long. As time goes by and the narcissist fails to establish contact with the victim, they might feel anxious and tense. They could start doubting themselves and experiencing mental turmoil. Despite this, they might attempt to reach out again, only to receive no response from the victim. Consequently, the narcissist might feel desperate, frustrated, and experience a fresh shock. It's important for the victim to stand firm in their decision and not return to the narcissist, even if they feel weak or succumb to their pressures. The victim should remember that distancing themselves from the narcissist is the best and healthiest solution for their mental and physical well-being. The narcissist isn't worth returning to if they cause harm and pain. When the narcissist finds that the victim has blocked all means of communication, They might experience tension and anxiety as this situation is unexpected and feared. They might worry about the possibility of the victim leaving them someday. After numerous unsuccessful attempts to contact the victim, the narcissist might search for them on social media platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp, only to discover that the victim has blocked them and cut off all contact completely. Even if the narcissist manages to contact the victim, they might send manipulative messages containing sweet and tender words, just as they did before. The victim might have previously responded quickly to such messages and complied with the narcissist's wishes. However, now that the victim has severed contact, the narcissist might continue with their old methods without realizing that these tactics no longer yield the desired results, and that the victim has decided to distance themselves and sever ties. When the narcissist leaves a message for the victim on any available communication platform, online or otherwise, they feel confident that they'll receive a response similar to what they used to get. The problem now is that they wait for a response in vain. When they open the sent message, they find that the victim hasn't read it, causing them a profound shock. This could lead to a narcissistic breakdown. At this stage, when the narcissist notices the victim's lack of interest in their message, anger overwhelms them. This anger is intense and reflects in their behavior and actions. The narcissist resorts to aggressive gestures, threats, and revenge against the victim, believing that they are the one in control, not the one being neglected or ignored. Since the narcissist requires multiple victims to perpetrate their malicious schemes, they search for new victims to fill the void left by the previous victim. This is what drives them to hold on to multiple victims simultaneously, ensuring the continuation of their negative and deceitful practices. If you decide to cut off contact with the narcissist, don't expect them to leave you alone and not attempt to win you back. Narcissists don't easily give up, and they might search for you for months or even years to bring you back into their victim role. Therefore, you must remain steadfast in your decision and not succumb to any attempts they make to regain you as their victim. If you decide to cut off contact with the narcissist, don't expect them to leave you alone and not attempt to win you back. Narcissists don't easily give up, and they might search for you for months or even years to bring you back into their victim role. Therefore, you must remain steadfast in your decision and not succumb to any attempts they make to regain you as their victim. It's important to understand that a narcissist possesses an extremely long persistence. Thus, they can't easily let go of you and might attempt to regain you for an extended period. Therefore, you must stand your ground and not entertain the thought of returning to them, no matter how long they search for you. You should be cautious and comprehend narcissistic tactics well. Remember that they can't forget you easily, nor can they let you go easily. Don't allow them to chase you again, and hold firm to your decision to stay away from them. In the event you decide to cut ties with the narcissist, remember that you can't consider returning to them or showing weakness for any reason, as that would lead to your complete destruction. Understand that a narcissist holds a long memory and can continue searching for you for an extended period. Thus, you must remain resolute in your decision and not succumb to any attempts they make to regain you as a victim. You must understand that narcissistic methods differ from those of ordinary people, and they know you well and how to control you. So stay vigilant and remember that they can't feel boredom, sadness, or joy, nor can they love you in a natural way like ordinary people do. Realize that a narcissist doesn't give up easily and can search for you for a long time. Therefore, you must stand firm in your decision and not think about returning to them. If you ever feel nostalgic for the happy days you spent with them, remind yourself that it's a natural feeling and doesn't mean you should go back to them. Regularly reassess your decision and remember the reasons for cutting contact with the narcissist. Be strong and steadfast in your decision, and don't yield to any attempts they make to get you back. After the separation, it's natural to remember the beautiful and painful days you spent with the person you separated from, even if there was some harm. They used to have an influence on you during those times and tried to entice you to stay with them. You're in a very precarious stage now. If you weaken and return to the person you separated from, it will be your downfall. Remember that the person you separated from is akin to a drug or addiction, and the phase you're currently in is the most perilous one. Addiction could overcome you, leading you back to them. You must continue to stand firm in your decision and not succumb to any attempts they make to lure you back. Understand that if they succeed in regaining you, their revenge will be more challenging and ruthless than what you've experienced before. So remain steadfast in your decision and refrain from returning to the person you separated from. It's crucial to understand that this time won't be like previous times, because this time you dared to distance yourself from them. They must punish you and make you regret this decision. Thus, if you decide to distance yourself, you must stay resolute in your decision and not contact them at all, so you can succeed in the end and save yourself from this toxic relationship. You need to start changing your life, routine, and habits you had while being with them. This means changing the environment you were living in and engaging in an entirely new life. It's very important to fill your leisure time with various enjoyable activities so you don't dwell on the past and recall old memories with them. Rebuild the relationships that were severed due to this relationship and reconnect with friends and relatives. Try to engage in beneficial and enjoyable activities to avoid feeling bored and lonely. Trust yourself and understand that distancing yourself from them is the right and definitive decision for you. Realize that your life was entirely empty before their presence, and now, after distancing yourself from them, you might feel emptiness again. Therefore, you need to fill your life with different activities and focus on yourself, rather than dwelling on them. You can engage in physical exercise, which will occupy your time and help you get rid of negative energy and its psychological effects. Exercise is an effective remedy for many psychological problems and also improves physical health. If you decide to distance yourself, this is the best revenge against the narcissist. They will feel rejected rather than being the one to reject. By doing so, you'll deal them a significant blow and make them feel embarrassment and guilt. Now, you must focus on yourself and your personal life, living for yourself rather than someone else. The period of distancing yourself will help you achieve this and make you feel improvement in your life away from this toxic relationship. Remember that their treatment towards you was harmful and toxic, and distancing yourself was the right step for recovering from this toxic relationship. Be sure that the information you've shared will be helpful for people seeking recovery from toxic relationships. Thank you for sharing this information, and we wish you success in your life and a swift recovery from this toxic relationship. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode with a new topic. Peace be upon you, and God's mercy and blessings be upon you.